Today we are going to talk about the importance of demonstrating a cultural fit with American employers during your job search in the US. Let's begin with the story of Jose. Jose was a young American job seeker with Hispanic roots who submitted dozens of job applications but didn't receive any invitations for interviews. Growing frustrated one day, he decided to conduct an experiment. He used an English version of his name on his resume. So, he went from being Jose to simply Joe. Immediately after the change, he started receiving calls from companies, including those that had not previously replied. At this moment, you are probably calling foul and declaring this a case of xenophobia and racism. What about diversity and inclusion? Don't American companies seek diversity in their ranks? The answer is often a yes. After all, the US is one of the most open and accepting countries in the world. But let's discuss another likely explanation for this scenario. Let's talk about corporate cultural fit. In the United States, company executives, especially CEOs, dedicate a lot of time to forging a specific corporate culture within their organizations, one that will help them achieve their goals. That's why companies seek employees who can easily fit in with their existing corporate cultures. Some companies may even ask you to take one or more personality assessments to determine if you have the behavioral qualities to match their culture. Now think about this. If businesses are worried about finding that cultural corporate fit among US citizens, imagine their reaction when they see an international person applying for a job. In their eyes, you bring a whole new level of complexity to achieve that cultural fit. They'll be concerned if you'll be really capable of fitting in with the rest of the team. Here's one more story to illustrate what we are talking about. Not long ago, a French student athlete went to interview for a position at a local insurance company. After acing all the questions, the interviewer turned the conversation to his experience playing for his school's soccer team. Eventually, they started talking about soccer and American football. The French student commented that it was ridiculous to call the sport football, as it is played with the hands. Upon leaving the interview, the student learned that he had not advanced in the recruitment process. The reason was simple: it turns out that American football was an important part of the company's culture. Not only did the staff arrange fantasy football leagues during the season, but they also dedicated part of Monday mornings to talking about the Sunday night NFL games. Those conversations were critical for their team-building efforts, as they would often segue to business matters. As you can see, bringing the French student, who ridiculed American football, would have been bad for the company culture. So, be aware that as a foreign national you may be perceived as a more difficult fit for an American organization. The mere fact that you come from another country may be seen as an obstacle to fit in. For this reason, we recommend that you avoid highlighting cultural differences during interviews or any professional interactions. Whenever possible, draw attention to your American acculturation. This means that you showcase the cultural traits you have picked up from the American culture during your time in the US. Show them that you can be part of the team. It's very important you notice that we are not asking you to change who you are. Be yourself. Because, if you join a company pretending to be someone else, you'll be setting up yourself for failure, and you'll be miserable. We are simply proposing that you highlight the parts of you that have adopted American qualities. So, how can you showcase your cultural fit? Well, the process starts with your resume. You want to present yourself in a way that you are perceived to be an easy fit for the company. This means you want to Americanize your profile as much as possible, including your name. So let's focus on your name. Across cultures, there are different traditions when it comes to name giving and the structure of names. For example, in Latin America it is customary to use two last names, the second being your mother's maiden name. While this is a common practice there, it is uncommon in the United States. Using foreign-sounding names and name structures that are different than in the US may unnecessarily highlight your international background. We recommend you go by an Americanized version of your name. For example, if your name is Luis, you may want to use an American nickname, like Lou. It doesn't matter if this is not a nickname you really go by. All we care about is that it makes you more relatable to American employers. Apply the same logic to all other names throughout your resume. Americanize as many foreign-sounding words as possible. One more thing, don't say fluent in English. It is assumed you speak the language. Instead, express your fluency in other languages, if any. With that being said, avoid using the term native speaker for the other languages, which again, unintentionally highlights cultural differences. We'll repeat what we said earlier. America is one of the most forward-thinking and accepting cultures in the world. We want you here with all the things that make you unique. We are simply helping you be perceived as a better and easier fit for American employers. We wish you success in your job search.